I don't like biopics. They are mostly pretentious awards bait that no one who feels joy actually likes. But they still manage to win multiple Oscars every year. I mean, do you remember the Best Picture winner of 2010, The King's Speech? No, you don't. Because the guy who made that movie also made Flipping Cats. My point is, you can have the filmmaking talent of a peanut and still make an Oscar-winning biopic. So Oppenheimer, in theory, should probably be the same. I mean, white guys talking about theoretical physics and communism for 3 hours does not seem very entertaining.
Boring!
In that time span, you can literally see the SpongeBob SquarePants movie twice.
Wow!
It's still better than The Godfather, don't lie, you know it's true. But Oppenheimer is a transcendent experience. This for me is cinema's crowning achievement of the 2020s. So how does this biopic stand alone as a movie which pushes the boundaries of film, while these ones are about as entertaining as watching paint dry? Well, let's talk about it. Now, most people love Oppenheimer. The Academy loved it.
And may I see Oppenheimer? What happened?
Good movie critics loved it, bad movie critics loved it, and audiences loved it. But why? What makes it a masterpiece unlike many other biopics? No one is gonna give you a straight answer, because it's a very complex movie with a lot of moving parts. But I can definitely narrow it down to 3 sections: presentation, scale, and person. Number 1, Oppenheimer has expert presentation. Most biopics are bad because their presentation is very bland. From a visual standpoint, the camera work is always really static, and while some may use a black and white filter or a tighter aspect ratio to try and make their movie look better, there's no real purpose behind it. Bad biopics do these changes to make the movie seem more prestigious, but it just feels a bit shallow. There's no effective imagery, the colors are way too desaturated, and shots are framed really blandly. This bleeds into the way bad biopics present the information about a person in their movie. For example, The King's Speech takes a format of, and then this happened.
Why are you gay?
And then this happened. And then this happened.
Sussy gamers.
Baba Booey.
Just aimlessly spitting a list of facts and figures about the guy the movie's about in a way that's not fun to watch or dramatic and nuanced. But why is this the case? And that is summed up in this Ricky Gervais clip.
I told ya, do a Holocaust movie, the awards come, didn't I?
Can't lie, I thought he would say that a bit more aggressively, but you get the point. The people making these movies think, how about we make a 5-hour black and white biopic about a squirrel with testicular cancer told through the avenue of a table in order to fool the Academy into believing our movie is a masterpiece, when in reality it's a pretentious pile of piss. And it works every single time. But Oppenheimer doesn't have that problem. The imagery for one is so effective. The movie starting with dripping rain is perfect for gently unsettling you, but Nolan also returns to it later in key moments in the story. But my personal favorite is his last speech at Los Alamos. The lights flashing violently in his face as Oppenheimer slowly gets immersed in silence, with his voice drowning out. Not only are the visuals very dynamic, but the sound flashing in and out is such a great way of seeing Oppenheimer's reality being completely distorted after realizing the horrors of his work. The color scheme is also perfect. Normally, black and white is a huge red flag when it comes to biopics, but here it works wonders. The color sequences are from Oppenheimer's perspective, so we have more hallucinations, emotional breakdowns, etc., getting more creative with the visuals and the sound. But the black and white segments are from a neutral perspective, so the focus is more on unraveling each thread of the political plot against Oppenheimer. 1, it's visually better to look at, but 2, it makes Oppenheimer's life feel so multifaceted, as if it's got so many different colors, emotions, and moments. But the non-linear timeline, inject that into my veins! In typical Nolan fashion, he manipulates time to drip feed you information from multiple moments of Oppenheimer's life, slowly revealing the overall picture. And doing that for a 3-hour movie following decades of a man's life is incredibly difficult. Pacing a 3-hour movie normally is difficult by itself, let alone in non-linear fashion. So it honestly blows my brain how effectively Nolan does this. It's like you're getting more and more pieces of the puzzle until the full picture becomes overwhelmingly clear. I love how this culminates in the score as well. In general, the score is fantastic, driving the emotion and the tension in a lot of scenes. But Ludwig Göransson, the composer, introduces all these small motifs at the beginning, but gradually they combine together by the end to create this wave of sound. Listen to the drone of music in this track. makes this movie by the end overwhelm you in all the right ways. 2. Oppenheimer has scale. Bad biopics don't really emphasize the impact of a person in the movie, because in real life they're so clear. For example, Darkest Hour. Winston Churchill is the big cheese. He was the Prime Minister of Britain during World War II. But the movie kind of assumes you know this, because if you don't know who Winston Churchill is, then the education system has failed you. So the movie takes on the format of "and Churchill did this." I've said this already. It doesn't allow you to truly experience his life and the true impacts of it. But in Oppenheimer, the production of the first atomic bomb is obviously one of the most significant moments in modern history. But in the movie, it has so much weight attached to it. The characters themselves are constantly grappling with how this will be completely revolutionary to warfare and be one of the greatest scientific achievements in history. And it shows in their actions. Oppenheimer's dry wit and arrogant demeanor completely turns off, and he hacks all communist relations. He stops talking to Jean Tatlock. Things that meant a lot to him at this point in the story, he chooses to completely drop in favor of focusing on this one project. And when the bomb is finally tested for the first time, holy moly, cheese and macaroni. The flames engulfing the screen in silence as everyone marvels at the birth of new age warfare. I remember everyone watching this in IMAX and everyone just went silent. Everyone in that cinema was in awe of the segment, and that is because it has a level of scale you just don't see in your ordinary biopic. Even moving forward, it reverberates in all aspects of the story, revolving around how Oppenheimer himself and the rest of the world reacted to it. It's built up to fantastically, the bomb detonation itself is climactic and spectacle at its finest, and the significance of this moment lingers for the rest of the story. But the biopic is fundamentally about a person, and if you can't make that person seem interesting, the film falls apart, which leads me on to point 3. J. Robert Oppenheimer is an inherently interesting person. Some people that get biopics made about them just don't have a life interesting enough to warrant it. For example, Maestro is about Leonard Bernstein, a white, egotistical, alcoholic and drug-abusing maniac obsessed with work. I've only seen that in every biopic under the sun. But the central event surrounding Oppenheimer's life is so simple yet so fascinating. What would happen if you created a weapon that could destroy the world? In concept, it's simple. You create the bomb, you drop the bomb, and guess what? It explodes. But how would you process creating a weapon that causes unparalleled destruction like we've never seen? How would the world even react to seeing this power unleashed for the first time? And why would you do it? The way it demonstrates Oppenheimer's talent for physics is just stunning. The normal biopic would show him solving a complex equation or just being told that he's a genius. But here, simple flashing imagery and sound design paint such a bigger picture. It shows that this man sees the world in different dimensions. A genius not by knowledge, but through vision. Niels Bohr sums it up here.
The important thing isn't can you read music, it's can you hear it. Can you hear the music, Robert?
And he can. So this forms the basis of Oppenheimer's character. Subdued yet confident arrogance and a desire to demonstrate his scientific talent in any way. And this is where the bomb comes into play. When given the Manhattan Project, he understands that if successful, this weapon can cause unprecedented levels of death and suffering. But yet, he welcomes it with open arms, because this is his chance to be immortalized as a god. Father of the atomic bomb staples your impact on human history, and with tiresome work, he succeeds. So when he creates this weapon, as he himself says,
"And now I am become death, destroyer of worlds."
American Prometheus, giving humans the power of the sun. And at first, he feels utterly victorious. Every advancement in New Age warfare will stem from his creation. But as the celebration of his achievement fades and the bombs are used for the first time, reality seeps into him. Thousands upon thousands die, and he has blood on his hands. And that culminates in the aforementioned Los Alamos speech, which I can only call a visual audio masterpiece. The brilliance of this scene I've already stated, but in the context of the film, it's terrifying. Oppenheimer's creation birthed a new world, one that can destroy everything and cause destruction on a scale beyond our imagination. and he has to live with this atrocity that he brought into existence. The American triumph has become the American horror story. So for the rest of his life, he tries to make up for it and ease his conscience. He advises against further bomb production, and he even lets himself get his name dragged through the mud by Strauss as some sort of twisted punishment for the crimes he thinks he's committed. And to a certain extent, you feel pity for him, not only for his burdening guilt, but Strauss himself was an absolute clown. Especially in RDJ's last monologue, you can just feel that hatred and that jealousy seeping out of him. I love also when he mentions how Oppenheimer turned Einstein against him in this confrontation, but by the end, it's revealed that they were talking about something much more important. It further presents Strauss as a spiteful, insecure man. But does he have a point? He mentions how Oppenheimer wanted to be the man who moved the earth. He needed to be American Prometheus. So finally, you're left questioning, if it happened all again, could he resist becoming the father of the atomic bomb? So when he stares into the distance, thinking about the chain reaction he set off, you feel a mix of terror at what he's created, sympathy for his struggles, anger, anxiety, terror. A cascade of negative emotions flows down you, leading to an utterly harrowing ending. So I guess to return to the original question, why will there never be a biopic like Oppenheimer? And this is my answer. It has fantastic presentation, the sound is amazing, and frankly, it's a masterclass of filmmaking in every way. But most importantly, we needed Oppenheimer's life on the big screen. An epic human odyssey of pride, triumph, guilt, and ultimately, the horror that one man can unleash upon the entire world.